And we're live. Like we said last time, we're live, but we're not
live.
We're not live when they see it.
No.
But we are currently live.
Right now.
Officially recording. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
How's that?
Ryan's getting a new truck.
I am getting a new truck tomorrow. Wednesday.
That's exciting.
I'm excited.
Wednesday. When
Describe
you guys are
your,
watching
describe your truck, dude.
Almost tomorrow.
almost tomorrow. When you guys are watching this, it'll be tomorrow. I am getting a 2019 F-150 Crew Cab 5.0. I'm so excited.
What color is it?
Black.
Nice.
The only correct color of a truck.
Nice.
I'm so excited.
I still say you should have gotten a Chevy or GMC, bro.
I care about the
Fords.
looks. I do like the Chevys. I like the GMCs, but I like the looks of the Ford.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Can't
So
argue with that.
we got our guys talking trucks.
Guys
that's
talking
already-
trucks, got that out of the way.
That's been covered.
All right,
Guys
so-
Talking Fights, episode 5. Episode 5.
So,
go ahead, man.
before we get into this past weekend, I'd say maybe cover a couple more things from...
Turn it. There you go.
You're going to knock it off the stand.
I don't want to knock it off.
Yeah. So, before we get to what happened this weekend, just a couple days ago on Saturday in Mexico City,
Mexico.
I'd say there were a couple of things that we missed from last week. Only the stuff that happened with Colby Covington.
Get at
Lay
it.
it on us, man. What did Kobe fuckhead do?
Well, before they announced Diaz Masvidal, obviously we know that Colby and Usman were trying to work something out. Colby was talking about that and called the negotiations hostage negotiations, which seemed a little strong. Shut up and fight.
Did it seem a little strong?
Yeah, only slightly.
He's a fucking idiot.
He also, if I'm remembering this correctly, and I apologize if I'm not, but he compared fighting in the UFC to slavery at one point.
Ooh.
And it's kind of like, dude, what the fuck are you talking
Well, that
about?
voluntary contract that he signed. Is
Exactly.
slavery.
Captain
and,
Cringe.
and the millions of dollars that
Can't stand him.
he gets paid to do stuff. So he claims he's America's fighter. He involved himself with the Trump family one time. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if I've heard, and you guys too. I don't know if you've heard anything about him with Trump since then.
Nope.
I know
No.
he still wears his Make America Great
He
Again
went to the
hat,
White
but-
House once, and then
Sweet.
in his last fight, the kids were
Yeah.
kids, Trump's children, which are
But that's what I
obviously
mean.
grown adults.
But like since
They
that
were in the
day,
front row. But
since that day, they haven't done shit. So I like how he's America's fighter, yet nobody gives a shit.
I think he's just trying to use the Trump name to gain attention.
Oh yeah,
'Cause honestly,
most definitely.
anytime you say Trump,
definitely.
you get a lot of attention. He's trying to get attention.
Yeah, yeah.
he's essentially trolling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
even if he has those beliefs, like you don't see any other fighter getting political or
That
anything
political.
like that. Not
no,
that
they
political.
avoid it.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Because
guess,
they know for the most part it's not good for their brand to
right.
get
It's like,
political.
Is supporting a current sitting president getting super political? Not really, but when that current sitting president is Donald Trump and there's half the country that loves him and the other half of the country that hates him and thinks he's a legitimate white supremacist and they want to fucking impeach him.
And then you use
he
the
knows what he's
term
doing.
slavery talking about your
Right.
negotiations
what
to
he's
fight
doing.
people. Yeah, no.
He knows that using politics is a very controversial topic, which is really interesting because at the end of fights, you always hear fighters say, I want to thank God, I want to thank whatever. Like, they're very religious, which is weird because religion and politics, like, those are usually two topics that you don't really want to talk about because they're very polarizing and controversial.
Yeah.
And yet, he's going with the political way, whereas we have seen other fighters use religious stuff.
Oh, you see religion in sports a lot. I mean, every time you see a guy hit a home run and he pats his chest and points to the sky, I know it's not
Usually,
as obvious.
As
But
far as religion goes, though, it's more of a respectful, like, I respect your right to worship what you want, and I'm going to worship what I want, and we're good. But, like, when you start getting political, like, everybody has an opinion. And, like, if
And
you
most
don't
of them
agree
aren't
with
very
it, you're more
good.
likely to speak out against it, as opposed to, like, If you just have a belief in a religion, like, okay, I just can't really argue with you about that.
Yeah.
When you get into politics, it's
Try,
like,
damn it.
you can be, you can try, you can get super argumentative and like all these points and like, Democrat, Republican, and
Yeah.
conservative and progressive and all this shit. And Covington's just playing off that shit
It's just
as hard as he can to try to get as much attention and try to make as much money as he can. And he's a douche.
And part of that whole thing is that I guess Stipe told a story. Stipe Miocic, the current heavyweight champion, told a story about how at UFC 241, where he KO'd or TKO'd Cormier, that from the crowd, Colby was talking shit to both Miocic's wife and Miocic's manager.
Such a bad idea.
That's kind of what I said,
Miocic
too.
would snap him in half.
Right?
good.
He's so much
I mean, I
bigger.
just don't think that'd be very much fun for him.
No.
You're taking on, like, what's Colby's biggest asset? Yeah, you just got fucked.
It's a shot of hot sauce
It is.
right there.
So Colby's a wrestler, if I'm correct.
He's a wrestler.
More of a wrestler?
He has
Sure
the
is.
same tattoo, the same wrestling tattoo as Chris Weidman, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of funny. But either way, I don't think, by any stretch, that Colby would do anything to Cormier
No.
in a wrestling match.
Cormier, or he was talking to Miocic.
Oh, yeah, but I'm talking about, okay, so Miocic just TKO'd a guy who's a better wrestler than
Who's a better
Colby
wrestler,
Covington.
and also, let's see,
I mean, several pounds heavier.
50 pounds.
Probably. But
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Miocic
that I
walks
don't think
around
that'd be
like
very much fun.
240 or something like that. Covington fights at 170.
Yeah, so probably
Maybe
walks
walks
around
around
at 185, 190, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm just kind of getting
just-
tired of the whole Colby thing. Like, I watch UFC for the fights, not for, like, the outside cage antics.
Well, I get it. It promotes a fight, but it's
It doesn't even that's the whole thing though. It's the thing that other people have been pounding is like, yeah, it promotes the fight, except for he has the lowest pay-per-view in the
does it in
history
a
of
way that
ESPN
people hate him
MMA.
so much they don't even want to watch his fights. It's like there's one, like McGregor did it perfectly. He fucking nailed it. He did just the right amount of bullshit where people want to watch him fight, but they don't hate him enough to not watch his fights.
Even after all the shit that he's pulled, which is honestly probably worse than just Colby Covington
Covington's
talking
all
shit.
talk. McGregor actually does shit.
Yeah,
He does-
and
he
kind
does
of gets
illegal.
himself in trouble.
Punches
Yeah,
people in the face and throws dollars through bus windows and breaks people's phones and
right.
Punches
So I
him, man.
mean,
all that stuff. And throws. Remember when there's a press conference where he was
Like,
throwing
threw a water
fucking
bottle
water bottles
and
like
missed.
multiple of them, just chucking them up at the crowd.
oh, that was just funny.
I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying he has done way more things like physically
Right,
things
right.
to fans and other people.
Now, you
As Covington, and Covington's still hated so much more. I feel like.
Far more.
You guys could answer this. Is that when Dana White said that's fucking illegal? Is that when he said it? When Connor threw the water bottles? Is that when we finally
Oh,
got
it could
that?
have been.
You know, I'm not gonna lie to you when I say I have no idea where that soundbite came from. That's fucking illegal.
Yeah, but you know the one I'm talking about.
I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about, but I don't know where it came from. I have no idea. So yeah, that's that. We forgot to talk about that.
Yep. No more need for any more Colby Covington talk because
fuck him.
he's a douche. I
All
feel almost as shitty about this conversation as I did about the Tyson Fury one from last week.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Seriously.
Colby should thank us because
Colby.
he
Hey,
just got
Colby.
8 minutes on a nationwide
You're welcome.
famous podcast.
Right, almost as much as Tyson Fury. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm saying.
So fuck that.
All right, moving on.
Stevens in Yair.
Well,
15
you want to
second
start
fight.
there? Or you want to start at the beginning of the card? I mean, you want to start from the top, or you want to start
Doesn't
from the
matter to
bottom?
me. I was just
Top,
gonna start
bottom,
at the
top,
the
bottom.
biggest controversial thing that happened on that card.
All right, so he swiped him in the face. 15 seconds into the fight, and it gets called.
Yep.
A full-on Panther swipe.
Yep. Yair Rodriguez reached out
El Pantera.
right down the face of Jeremy Stevens. Stevens could not continue. It was ruled a no contest. And we were talking earlier about the way that Yair reacted. I think he thought that he won the fight. And
It's
then when he
weird.
realized that he didn't win the fight. That's when he got pissed off when Bisping came into the ring to interview him. He was being all like pissy and like being an asshole. Because I think he found out like right before that interview they were telling him like, no, dude, you didn't win. It was a no contest. And that's when he started getting all like pissed off. Because prior to that he was acting kind of like he won the fight.
Yeah, I was a little confused by the whole thing after the fight because initially I couldn't understand how he could have possibly thought he won. It just doesn't. I wouldn't think how in your head you could possibly think you won. You didn't knock him down with it. Nothing happened. Like, it was, I don't know. Either way.
It was weird.
So, when initially after the fight, they were already throwing shit, the crowd was, by the time he jumped up onto the cage.
Mm-hmm.
So my initial reaction was, oh, he's trying to draw attention away from the people walking out of the cage, Jeremy Stevens and his crew, that people were throwing stuff at to be like, hey, pay attention to me, cheer, whatever, just pay attention to me instead of doing that. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, no, he was celebrating a victory. And I'm like, I just don't see how he thought he won.
I think he was celebrating because as soon as, I think it was Herb Dean was the ref, as soon as Herb Dean waved it off, he put his arm up like he
Which is
thought
just
he won.
weird.
And then
right
he
away.
jumped up on the cage and put his arms up and then did the hands
He
hold,
kind of like
the touching
bowed
of the
and
hands.
put his hands on his head. Like,
Now,
yeah.
I took that as I'm sorry the fight's ending, but you actually made a better point, and I actually agree with you more, that he's saying thank you,
Like
for,
Jesus
like,
or God or whatever he believes in. Like, thank you for like giving me
the
strength to win this
Yeah.
fight. And he like bowed.
It's
after
so
having his
weird. I
hands
just
up.
don't.
I don't know, man.
understand how in his head he could have possibly thought he won.
It's just the way. That's the way it looked to me. Who knows what he really?
Yeah,
thought,
I know,
but that's
I
the
know.
way- That's what
That's-
it looked like. And then when he was being all pissy, like you had 5 minutes to chill until your interview, and then you're being like, he was being weird toward Bisping, like gave him shit.
I don't even know if he necessarily knew that was Bisping initially. I
Yeah,
know he
maybe
turned
not.
around and started screaming at him.
Well, it doesn't
But I
matter
think
who- doesn't matter
initially
who it
when
was.
somebody touched him, well, because he got dragged off the top of the cage too, and I wasn't
by his
sure.
own team, though.
But that's
not by random people, by his team.
No, I get that, but it's still, that was kind of like, I get that you don't want him up there, I guess, but you knew people weren't going to throw shit at him. He's in his like home country and everything.
That's true.
But
It was weird,
But
for
when they
sure.
pulled him off there, I was going, please don't injure him. You'd be dragging him off a 6 foot tall cage.
That's true.
And so that's kind of why when somebody grabbed him again from behind, I wasn't that surprised that he kind of was like, hey, can people please stop grabbing me from behind?
Right.
Sure.
It was just a really weird situation that we don't really know what he was thinking.
No, it's weird.
Just what it looked like. It just looked like he thought he won.
I mean, going over to the Jeremy Stevens side, I mean, like, I know he wanted to fight.
Absolutely.
I want to put that out there. He would fight you with one
He's got
eye.
30 fights in the UFC, and it is his first no contest
Yeah.
of his career.
Yeah, he wanted to continue. He physically could not continue. I'm actually kind of surprised it wasn't like, oh, I can see, with his eyes clearly closed. Just like,
Yeah.
oh, I could see.
He could not open it.
I mean, I don't hold that against him for not doing that. 'Cause
Todd Duffy wouldn't have taken the full 5 minutes. He would have just walked away immediately and been like, nope, done open. See you later, guys. Where's my check?
Yep.
Where's my jack?
Haven't fought in 4 years, but that's all I got right there.
Yeah. I'll see you in 3.
Because all Jeremy got from that fight was his show money. He didn't get anything else.
Yeah, and I think they were saying either it was him or Yair or both dropped like I think it was Jeremy Stevens who dropped $30,000 to spend a week in Mexico City or
Yeah, it was Jeremy
whatever, or a
Stevens.
month,
It's Jeremy
a month in
Stevens.
Mexico City
He spent
to
$30,000
be there ahead of time.
To
Yeah,
probably acclimate to like the high.
Oh, yeah,
the
definitely.
high,
He
like,
spent 6 weeks
So-
there to train and get used
I
to
believe
the,
it's the highest.
music.
It's obviously not the highest point, but it's the highest like stadium
that the UFC's
atmosphere.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a really high
Yeah,
elevation.
yeah.
that UFC's been to. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
For sure.
Yep.
So that's that. So hopefully they run it back. Jeremy Stevens.
I
called
hope they
out.
do. It'll be a little weird because they're running on Sunday night at the hotel afterwards, where Jeremy pushes Yair after Yair talks a little bit of shit and is kind of telling him, okay, so if your eye's great now, why the fuck wasn't it good 24 hours ago? Like, what are we doing here?
See, that's strike 2 for stupidity for me.
It's a little weird. It's a little weird to me. I know, I mean, Jeremy Stevens was rocking sunglasses, so he was saying he'd rather do that instead of an eye patch. So I guess maybe if he was wearing an eye patch, Yair would have had a little bit more sympathy for him, but I don't know. It was a little weird.
Maybe you should have sympathy regardless.
It was a little weird.
The dude can't continue. Eye pokes happen. It's not the first time that's ever happened. I mean, it happened recently twice. Once in Bellator and then in the UFC with Duffy, like you said.
Well, but
and,
yeah, Duffy
I mean,
doesn't count.
I'm not saying it does, but regardless, like they
Duffy
happen.
makes eye pokes
They
look
fucking
bad.
happen.
Yeah, Duffy makes eye pokes look like a wuss way to get out of a
He got
fight.
punched.
That's
Anyway,
the worst part.
so regardless, I think they should run it back. Hopefully they run it back soon. Jeremy Stevens said it. He said he wants to fight in Boston, DC, or MSG.
I did just
Put
read,
us on the
however,
card. Let's fight it. Let's make this fight happen. I hope they do that.
based on the injury that he has, that if he doesn't get medical clearance soon, that they're going to medically rule him ineligible for a while.
Suspend him, basically.
Yeah.
I can see
I
that.
thought he was cleared. The doctors were just like, "Yep, your eyes scratched. Like you have
But he
scratching
doesn't-
and bruising on your eyes." Like,
Not for, like, MMA, though.
okay.
He's, like, cleared as in, like, yeah, you
UFC
can...
doctors
You
have to
can
like clear him.
right. So, like,
Sure,
you
he'll get
can
cleared.
leave the hospital, you're fine, but that was the last thing that I read before we
As
started
long
doing
as
this.
his
Is like,
eyes
hey,
are open, he can see, and there's no damage to his eyes, which I don't think there's any long-lasting damage. I think it was just in the moment he got scratched in the eye and couldn't open his fucking eye.
Mhm.
And then, but hours later, after he left the hospital, he was okay. But in the moment, you only have 5 minutes to recover, and when you get your eye scratched, 5 minutes is not a very long time to let an eye scratch start to feel better. It's not a long time at all. You got your sweating, all that shit.
It's not too common.
It's too bad. It's just unfortunate.
It's not too
Hope they
common
make it
that
happen again.
it's not too common that we see them use the full 5 minutes
Yeah.
and still not be able to continue.
Especially a guy like Jeremy Stevens.
Yeah.
Tough motherfucker.
Yeah.
Everybody says that.
And I applaud Herb Dean because he tried everything. Like, he brought
Definitely.
the doctor and he sent the doctor away. He's like, let's give him 5 minutes and everything. Like, he tried everything. So I applaud Herb Dean for that.
Yeah, definitely did. He did a great job.
But, man, what an unfortunate event. I wanted it to end fast.
Sucked.
I did. I wanted that fight to end fast, and it
Well,
did.
it
But
ended quickly, sir.
yeah, it did.
so Jeremy Stevens suspended 180 days, or until cleared by an ophthalmologist.
Until cleared, okay. Or until cleared.
Or, yeah.
He'll get cleared.
Carla Esparza. We'll get into it, but she also is suspended,
Carla Esparza.
despite winning the fight.
Because she,
Yeah.
Winning.
she
Winning
lost
the
that
fight.
fight.
Well, let's go right there. Let's go there right now. We're good on.
She got her nose
CIR.
broke. She got her fucking arm broke, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, no, you're good."
Was her arm was definitely so was it the third round, second round, third round,
Third.
round? She got rocked.
It was like a
and then
minute
she
and a
got
half
into an
before the end of
armbar.
the fight.
I went back and watched it again because originally I was like, yeah, I thought Esparza like she did good, but I wasn't really like I was watching the fight on my phone. I was fucking around at the same time, so I missed some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back and watched the fight just now,
Mhm.
and yeah, I think Esparza definitely lost that fight.
Esparza had
No
good
doubt about it.
takedowns, and I think you were
Sure,
saying
yeah, she had a
earlier
few good ones.
she held her down for most of the second round. She has good control.
That's the round I think Esparza won the second round, but I think she lost the first round and definitely, without argument, lost the third round.
She got her nose broke in the first round, Esparza did, from a straight punch, and then she got her arm broke in the third round from a submission attempt, which it seemed like.
I don't think it fucked her arm up though, did it?
Oh, her elbow's fucked. She said in the post-fight interview that she wasn't going to be able to throw punches for weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, she
mean, when
was
you're-
like, I won't be throwing
I mean,
punches for a
it
while.
was definitely bending the opposite way. There's no doubt about it. There was a deep armbar. I didn't know if it was like actually like.
Yeah, no, I
like,
don't. I don't think she
was it
legitimately
fucked
broke
up,
any
or, like-
bones, but I
Okay.
definitely think that once
Sure.
you stretch those ligaments out like that, you
Oh,
need a
no,
little
I'm sure
while
it
to
hurt like hell.
have everything come back together so that your arm doesn't do that constantly.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was hyperextended, but it was hyperextended a lot.
That was an extra 45-degree angle in
That
the
was
opposite
ridiculous.
direction.
Oh yeah,
that was insane.
That was
It was a
brutal.
beautiful armbar.
It was.
That was really
Beautiful.
That was really
good
like
on Esparza for not tapping. Honestly.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Give her
Yeah.
credit for that.
Definitely, I did. Not enough credit to win.
No, she didn't win the fight. It's like,
But-
oh, you didn't tap to that armbar? Okay, you won.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. It was like they just gave her like the, oh yeah, you pushed through it. Good for you.
Good for you. Way to go.
which is interesting because it was Grasso who was the hometown favorite, and usually we see like when it's a really close fight, we go with the hometown girl or guy.
Even though they're both Mexican, which is even funnier because Esparza was kind of a little bit annoyed that they threw shit at her when she left the ring.
Did they throw shit at her?
Yeah, they threw
Esparza
shit at
got
her
so
too.
Yep.
I can't wait till they go back to Mexico. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was
that.
Bisping celebrated. I got hit in the face with Modelo.
Oh, there's the Irish.
Sure,
one.
Yeah,
there's
no,
the Irish
that's it.
accent for an Englishman.
I mean, going back to the Esparza fight real quick, that was like a classic Esparza fight because her last fight was a close split decision that I thought she lost, and then she won that one too. And I think that was against Gastela.
I
Just
thought she
failing up the
definitely- I thought
ranks.
she definitely won that fight.
That
Actually,
one?
her last fight. Yeah, I thought that was a legitimate win.
Oh, she's
Sorry,
got.
dude, you're allowed to cough. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not fucking up the mics.
Yeah, hopefully not.
The mics already fuck up all the time anyway.
Yeah, whatever. It is what it is. We'll figure it out someday when we get
Yeah.
when we get actual like
the true
things to hold the mics and get them farther away from each
That's
other.
going to be the key, is getting them farther away
so
from each other.
So in the next couple of weeks, we're gonna do that. In the next couple of weeks, in 2 or 3 weeks, we're gonna have.
Ooh.
We're gonna get the mics. Yep. Probably either next week or the week after. We're gonna have nice little holder things for the mics, so they can
Booms.
be up. Booms.
I even had it in my notes that they never,
Gonna look
even
great.
after Esparza lands these takedowns, they never go anywhere.
Nope.
I imagine.
Yeah,
I remember
true,
thinking
man.
at
She
one
doesn't-
point.
Just control.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah, it
little
was the
little
Usman
body
control, but
shots and
Usman at
stuff.
least landed some shots and you tired Woodley out.
Like
It
Usman,
wasn't
what, you
just
talking about Usman's last fight against Tyron Woodley?
yeah,
Dude, he did
where
some
he
damage.
just exactly just laid on him, but was
laying, he
still
was laying heavy shots.
exactly. And
the
Esparza
stand-up,
just
when
was
they
like,
get in
"Oh,
the
I'm just gonna lay
clinch,
here."
Like, he controlled the clinch completely.
Yeah, Esparza just laid on her and didn't do anything.
Yeah.
She didn't do ground and pound.
Yeah.
And the other thing
Not a
that I
lot of
thought
it.
at one point, I don't remember what round it was in, but she was definitely taking some shots from the top, where Grasso was landing shots from the bottom, and you're seeing remnants of the Barboza-Felder fight you just saw a few weeks ago, where it's like as soon as she took her down, she was just like, oh shit, that was a bad idea. Starts getting her ass kicked even though she's on top.
Whoops. It's funny. So we all thought, and I think everyone we've talked to and everything I've seen on the internet.
I'm sorry, I don't know who the two post-fight analysis people are for ESPN. One's a former fighter or a current fighter,
Dan
but I
Hardy.
don't know. Is that who it is?
Yep.
And then
Dan Hardy.
the woman that was with him, both were like, I don't know about that. Like, that didn't seem. And they even interviewed Esparza afterwards, so I wonder how that went.
Esparza lost that one.
Moving along.
Yeah, I definitely think Esparza lost.
Yep.
I'd like to see Grasso fight again pretty soon because I didn't think she got banged up too bad.
She actually looked phenomenal.
Yeah, she looked really
didn't
good.
Have like a scratch on her fucking
She was
face.
smiling after.
She was throwing so many submission attempts at her,
Yeah, she
even
was.
before
She
that
looked
one that
great on the ground.
even before the one that she
Fantastic.
landed.
Yep.
Yep. And I mean, how many other people are tapping to that? 99% of the people she's going to fight.
Yes.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're not getting out of that
That's
most of
thing
the time.
With women, it's different because they got a little more
Oh, yeah.
flexibility.
Yeah,
in their
definitely,
joints and stuff than men
definitely.
do. Like if that was a man
But
getting
holy
that
shit.
armbar, like that shit's over.
I mean,
You see them.
I cried watching it.
That looked so.
I was at my house just sobbing, holding on to my elbow.
Hurt like hell, but
Yeah, right.
if the arm doesn't break, she didn't tap. She's tough, man. She's fucking tough.
Yeah, but I mean,
She's a
you
tough chick,
remember.
but she lost the fight.
And now the name just escapes me, the girl that she was fighting, but when Ronda Rousey snapped that girl's arm in the middle of the fight.
Trying to think of that one.
Yeah, you know who do you know which fight I'm talking about
In the
though at all?
UFC?
I don't remember if it was in the UFC or not, but the girl refused to give up to Rousey and Rousey snapped her arm. Yeah.
I don't know if that was UFC then, but I guess
I don't think so, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, because I think it was a pretty long time ago. But her and this girl had 2 or 3 fights against each other, but if I'm remembering correctly, the first fight they had, she broke her arm.
See, I'm glad that Kim Winslow wasn't the ref because I remember specifically watching she was a referee, by the way, the one with the really long ponytail. I'm glad she's not a ref in the UFC anymore because she stopped a fight one time when one of the fighters got into an armbar because she thought that it looked painful, so she stopped the fight, even though he didn't tap or nothing.
What the fuck?
Ronda Rousey breaks Miesha Tate's arm.
Misha Tate.
So that was in Strikeforce then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Didn't she just fight recently?
Misha Tate.
Did she fight on this card?
No, Misha's been retired.
No, who the hell am I thinking about then? Oh, Beth Korea. That doesn't.
Oh,
I know
Betch.
that doesn't make sense, but I remember seeing that name and being like, "That's a little bit of a flash from the past."
I don't know if that was this card. It might have been the last card, but Betchkoya did recently fight.
I don't believe it was this one, unless it
Really?
was it a prelim fight.
I'm not a fan of her.
Yeah, it was not an early prelim fight, but
One of the first ones.
yeah, it was like the very first fight of the night.
Speaking of prelims, Sergio Pettis was on the
Yo,
prelims
he looked good, man.
for Mexico City.
He had a nice, good win.
Mm-hmm.
He looked
Won a
fantastic.
decision, like a That's what I'm looking for. Unanimous decision.
Unanimous. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, he looked fucking great. He's a force in that weight class. He's a little dude. I wonder if he could move up to 135 though. Do you guys think he could, or do you think he's too small?
He does.
Beth Correa did fight at UFC Mexico City.
Has he fought at 135 already?
Yes. So his last fight, not on Saturday, but his previous fight before that was at bantamweight, and then the fight before that was flyweight.
Right.
So he does alternate between flyweight
He does go
and
back
bantam.
and forth.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I believe his first few fights in the UFC were actually at bantamweight, and then he went down to flyweight, did pretty good, and then
looks great at both weight classes too. I feel like
he's got a ton of potential.
he really does. He's ranked 5th at flyweight.
Yeah.
I think they're going to need guys to keep bouncing between those lower weight classes just because there's not enough guys down there that everybody knows who they are.
The 125 division really.
It's on its last legs.
I don't know, man. I don't know what's up with it. Like, I feel like that's the original reason I brought up that question is, has he or could he fight at 135? Is because if that 125 weight class kind of disappears and they disintegrate it and the UFC
Depends on what
goes away with it, how many of these guys are able to move up to 135? I feel like probably most of them could, right?
Yeah.
Like, a
Yeah,
lot
most of those
25
guys
could move up to
probably
10
walk
pounds to
around.
135.
Yeah, most of those guys
Yeah.
probably walk around near 140.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah, probably 135, 140. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably 140.
because even your smaller guys like Cejudo and Benavidez have a decent amount of muscle on them. They're not.
Yeah, so
They're not
Cejudo's
super
a
small
big
guys.
Dude. It's actually kind of crazy. Yeah, he's super short, I guess, but it's crazy.
5'3", I think.
It's so crazy he makes 125 when you look at him. He's
Oh yeah,
like a big
Even
guy
the,
for a little guy.
even what was it? The Dillashaw fight. I think he said he came into the ring at
141.
almost 140. Yeah, or over 140. Yeah,
Walking into the ring.
it's
Yeah.
insane.
Interestingly enough, though,
Insane.
Cejudo used to have a problem making flyweight in the UFC.
Yeah.
He would.
Makes sense.
He came in thinking he was gonna be a flyweight, and
Big
he
fucking
couldn't.
guy.
Yeah, he couldn't make flyweight. He finally did figure it out, and obviously he's the champ now. But
Right.
Yeah.
He did have some fights at 135.
Yeah.
So a lot of these
Triple
flyweights.
C.
Oh, he was there. He was in the audience.
You know he's an Olympic
Moscow.
champion, right?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Did you know he has an Olympic gold medal?
Oh, no way. Wow.
Yeah.
This is the first I'm hearing of that.
Wow, man.
Yeah, I just found out too. Just found out yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got an Olympic gold medal.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Pretty cool.
He actually just phoned us in. He was watching the podcast. He's watching it live.
He texted
He
me.
was watching it live.
He's watching it live.
I don't
right
know
now.
how.
He's watching it
So
live
we're
right
just
now, and he's
texting.
like, "Hey, don't forget to mention about that gold medal I got,
Right.
and how I'm gonna beat all the women in the UFC somehow."
That's what the
Yeah,
when my
right.
phone went off. That's
That
what
was
that
Cejudo.
Intergender championship.
Yeah, that was Cejudo on the phone over there that cost
Yeah.
Will a
Scary.
shot hot
He
sauce.
texted me, so-
Scary.
so
I wouldn't want to fight
Triple C was good,
Valentina.
I
What you
just,
got next, Zach? You got anything there? Because I was gonna go to Paul Craig, but
Paul Craig.
Paul Craig.
Where was
bro.
Paul Craig?
Paul Craig. He won via submission
Oh, he fought in a prelim.
last
it was
night.
prelims.
And
Okay.
a fun little fact about him is that he has 3 wins in the UFC. All 3 wins are by submission. He also has 3 losses. All 3 losses are from getting knocked out. And one of the knockouts is Khalil Roundtree, who is fighting next weekend.
Oh man, these transitions are good.
Denmark.
It's just amazing.
Good
so,
transitions.
Khalil Roundtree's fighting next weekend, and I don't know if you want to get into that yet.
Not yet. Let's finish. I think we
Okay.
should do this weekend first, or
Go
this
ahead.
past weekend first.
So Paul Craig is a jiu-jitsu guy. He comes
Yeah.
right out and says, "Yeah,
Yep.
I'm looking for a
For sure.
submission."
That's what he tries to do.
He
Yep.
jumps into guard.
So basically submits someone, or he gets fucked up and gets
Yeah.
knocked out.
Yeah, and he looks like Braveheart every time he weighs in.
Yeah.
Except for when he's in Mexico, he wears a luchador mask.
For some reason.
Yeah. So that's all I got on that.
I honestly didn't watch that one.
That's fine.
I watched the
Go ahead.
main card, and that was
That's
it.
why that's what you got. 'Cause that's the last thing I got from this weekend. And then everything
Oh, really?
else.
Oh, there's a good
I mean,
one
I
that you're missing.
had stuff from Moreno Askarov, which was a great fight that
Yes.
ended up being a split draw. That was a great fight.
Yep.
Aldana Mello. Aldana won. It was pretty obvious most of the time. I know it's not the nicest thing to say, but Mello should cut weight and go down to a lower weight class because she's going to keep tiring herself out, swinging and missing at everybody at the weight she's at. And then, KO of the night.
Yes.
Bravo Peterson.
First fight of the main card.
Yep.
A very rare. This is only the 7th time it's happened in UFC.
The spinning back fist?
Mm-hmm.
It was
back fist
beautiful.
knockout.
Beautiful.
It sounded fantastic.
Yep.
It was just a solid.
Countered a spinning back fist with a spinning back fist and knocked the guy out.
with some mean hammer fists after.
It was great. He said he regretted those. Did you hear that?
I think he knocked his teeth out. Someone was telling me.
Oh, I see. I didn't hear that.
The side of the guy was like standing there like holding his mouth like he had a toothache.
Really?
And he was missing teeth. I don't know if it was before.
I know Peterson, like, afterwards said that he kind of just got excited after he hit him, and he actually felt really bad for landing the shots that he did afterwards. He was like, that was not
super necessary.
It was not super necessary. That's just what I was thinking when I was saying that.
But it was a sick knockout.
And that was a good fight ahead of that. I think Peterson might have been losing. I don't think it was by a lot, but I think he was losing going into that, and then he landed that shot.
The 7th knockout by spinning back fist in UFC history?
Yes.
Wow.
Shoney Carter, I believe, had the first one.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I know Chuck Liddell's got to have at least one or two.
I don't think Chuck Liddell has any.
Really?
Wait, that's what he's like known for, was his spinning back fist.
Superman punch.
He would be more of like the backpedaling overhand right was Chuck Liddell. I don't know about spinning back fist with Chuck Liddell. I could be wrong.
I definitely know he landed them,
Just,
but
in my head, that's just what I think of. But yeah.
maybe no KOs.
We're going back a ways. So.
A lot of KDs, a lot of knockdowns.
Yes.
Mello, though.
Oh, yeah.
Mello missed a huge opportunity. This doesn't have nothing to do with fights. Mello had missed a huge opportunity with her nickname to not be either Marsh or Yellow. Mellow Yellow or Marshmallow. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was a missed opportunity.
Peanut butter and fluff.
I was glad that she
All
lost.
about the nicknames, bro.
I go off the nicknames, the tattoos, everything other than the actual fight itself.
Yo, that's what tipped me off when Peterson came out. I was like, really? You have a Superman logo tattooed on your chest?
Fucking A, he does.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, good for you, dude. I hope you get knocked out. Spinning back fist.
And now he's one of my favorite
And
fighters.
there it is.
Beautiful KO.
He earned it.
That was
Beautiful.
That was super nice.
Yep, and that's everything I got from last week.
Super nice.
I can't think of anything else I have to throw in there.
I got nothing from this past weekend besides everything we talked about. Stevens and Yair, we talked about that. We hit up Esparza. We all thought that she lost.
Can we throw
Swing
two?
back fist knockout. Paul Craig with his 3 submissions and 3 knockouts.
Can we throw in 2 minutes of I like how passionate the fans get. I do like that. In Mexico City, Brazil, I love passionate fans. When I was out in Boston watching one of the UFCs, the fan base, it made being live great. And so I'm assuming Mexico City would be really fun to be in, like with the whole crowd and everything. But throwing shit at fighters, I hate that
That's where you
shit.
draw the line, right?
Yeah,
You
it's
have
just...
to.
Yes, Zach just showed me a video of it
Malice at the
happening-
Palace.
Malice at the Palace.
Yep.
I've seen it happen in America, but I don't feel like that would have happened. That scenario in America, I don't think they would have
Well,
thrown shit.
they've
I don't think so either.
ever since Malice at the Palace, that's made it so that basically the security at things in the U.S. is insane. We basically pay for that never to happen again because the people in the stands pay so much money for those tickets that the guys paying $1,500, $3,500 to sit in the front row don't want to have a guy trained to fight jump into the crowd and start punching them in the face.
Right.
Now, I get that NBA players are not trained to fight, but still, most of the time, NBA players are 6'5", 7 feet tall,
Big dudes.
Yeah.
and most of the people in the crowd, you know, are not.
Yeah.
So,
They're not.
so yeah, so
Or they'd be in the NBA.
right. So I get a little bit of why you never see it in the U.S. anymore, and I don't want to limit it to just like South American countries, because I know you see it a lot in Europe too, not necessarily with UFC, but you see it a lot with
Football.
yeah, soccer, football, not American football, European football.
European football. Soccer. Fucking soccer.
So you don't just want to limit it to just South American countries, but at the same time, it's a little disheartening. A little.
I thought it was ridiculous, dude. Like, the dude got swiped in the face. He couldn't fight. And as he's...
Well, but even the
he's getting
Esparza
shit
said
thrown
she
at
was
him.
getting stuff thrown at her when she was leaving.
Carla Esparza, who, like, granted, like, we all believe, like, she got the win. Like, she didn't deserve it, necessarily. We thought that, you know, she lost. She got shit thrown at her because the judges gave her the win.
Yeah.
That was
the fuck?
That was one of the other things that I got
ridiculous.
not like super annoyed with, but you had some people coming out afterwards and being like, "Oh, it's because it's Jeremy Stevens and he was fighting a guy from Mexico that they're throwing shit at him." It's like, no,
There's no
Carla
excuse for
Esparza's
that.
from Mexico. They
excuse
still
for
threw shit at her.
There's not. She's from Mexico.
They're just
but she's
pissed off
Mexican,
fans.
Though. She has Mexican
Descent.
Well, that's
heritage.
okay. I'm sorry. I
Yes.
apologize.
No,
But
you're good. I just
that
wanted
was
to make
that
sure
was
we're clear on
kind
that.
of her thing going in, was that she was hoping that she was going to be a little bit more of a hometown favorite.
Against
Or
the
a little
actual
bit more.
hometown.
Well, but still,
Yeah.
get a little bit more
Alexa
support
Grasso's
from the
actual
crowd.
Mexican. Yeah,
So it was just kind of funny that, I mean, she still got shit thrown at her.
yeah, it's
They
pretty
weren't-
ridiculous. I don't know.
They weren't.
You wonder if
holding
the
anything
UFC
back.
is going to be a little like Dana and them are going to be a little hesitant to go back to Mexico City.
I hope so.
When they
I
have
don't know.
Two different fighters get shit thrown at them for something that was completely out of their control.
Yep.
Yep. Nobody injured though.
Jeremy Stevens wanted to fight. He was unable to. They had to call the fight. He got shit thrown at him. Carla Esparza fought her ass off, lost, but won, got shit thrown at her. Like, what the fuck?
That's just the
No
fans.
one taunted the crowd. No one yelled at the crowd. None of the fighters said anything bad about Mexico or Mexicans.
Colby.
And they got shit thrown at them. Like, it's kind of fucked up. Like, you
So
really
that's-
wouldn't see that in many other places.
Maybe
Not
that'll
even
be
just the United States. I
the.
would say other countries as well. You're not gonna really see that.
Dude,
anywhere.
China and Japan, they're so respectful.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, it was disheartening.
Well, but that's what I mean, it happens in Europe. It happens in South America. I
In
mean,
Europe, but
honestly.
not in the UFC, like in soccer, but it's like they have like
Well, but how many?
actual, like they have like fucking clans. Like each team has a clan that fights each other in the streets.
Yeah.
like,
They do.
leading up to the soccer match. Like
do.
that's just what they do. Like this is not something that should
sounds
be happening.
fun.
It's not a normal thing. In
Honestly, I
MMA,
think it would
for the
happen more
crowd
in
to be just
America if
throwing
it-
shit at the fighters.
Honestly, I think it would happen more in America if it wasn't for that one incident in Detroit.
Maybe,
I think you'd see a little bit more of it anyway. At least people, I mean, with the way you hear people act at these games,
Sure.
where you hear like people in the front row feeling completely comfortable, like in the NBA playoffs this past year, there was a player who fell into the front row, and a partial owner for the team that he was playing against, shoved him. And it's just like, okay, you wouldn't, if for some reason a guy, and say Jeremy Stevens for whatever reason got like knocked into the crowd a little bit on his way out and some guy shoved him, I'd say he could punch him in the face.
It's not to say that
But I
shit
wouldn't be
doesn't
surprised.
happen. It's just like based on just the situation, you probably wouldn't see that almost anywhere else. Like the crowd
I don't know about
probably
that.
wouldn't react that way. How many fights have been ended by eye poke other places and people don't fucking throw shit from the stands at the fighter who got eye poked and was unable to continue?
I don't think. I mean, it
Still
had to
happen.
do with the fight ending. I don't think it had to do with the eye poke. I mean, obviously the eye poke ended the fight.
Dude, I get
Any
them
sort
being
of-
pissed off. I get them booing, but once you start throwing shit, like you cross the line, like what the fuck are you guys doing?
I'm not
That's
excusing
the
it. I'm
second
just
time it
saying that
happened.
that's
They threw shit at
not.
Esparza and the Thursday Jeremy Stevens. Like
I'm just saying that that's
That's
not
not
the
cool.
only place that's going to happen. I think
you
that
want
would,
the UFC
that
to
could have
keep coming
happened
back,
literally
they're
anywhere.
worried about the safety of their fighters. Don't throw shit at the fighters.
They'll be
Don't
back.
do that.
I feel there's a respect thing where the Mexican fans there respected their fighter so much that they disrespected the other fighter. Where here in America, we respect one of the fighters. We're cheering for him, but we're not going to disrespect the other fighter. And when you do see it sometimes,
To
to an extent, like
of not throwing shit at them. But
Yeah,
we'll
yeah, you're not
boo
gonna-
'em.
yeah, we'll
fucking
boo 'em.
boo 'em and everything.
But like I remember being in I think it was Buffalo. In the Buffalo card when Cormier fought Rumble. There was a fight in the stands because there was a really dumb guy that said something really dumb during a fight. And so all the other fans
Colby?
basically attacked him. And it was really nice to see because like I'm not gonna say I attacked him. I was like
Right.
far away,
But
but
you're
like,
like,
it was
yeah,
nice
fuck
to
that guy.
yeah, it was nice to see that like okay, all these fans, even though they're drunk, there's a lot of drunk, loud people
Oh,
during
for
these
sure.
during these cards,
yeah, definitely.
but they still respect the fighters. Whereas Mexico, they respected them too much, if that makes sense, to the point where they were disrespecting and throwing shit at the other.
I think you're going to
Yeah.
get that. I think you're going to have maybe the potential for that in every single fight that they like.
Yeah, but
Tell
what I'm
me-
saying is you
tell me
don't
if for
see it
some
anywhere else,
reason-
though.
No, but that's
The
what I'm saying.
potential's
You have
always
the
there. There's
potential
fights
everywhere.
every weekend, and you hardly have you saw what happened with Khabib
Okay, but Khabib
and
won.
with this. Right, I'm just saying that, and he jumped into the crowd and started doing shit though. Like
Okay.
he actually did something.
Mhm.
You never have. I can't even think of any other time where we've seen the fans throw shit at fighters when the fighter didn't do anything wrong besides this past weekend. I can't even think of anything.
I have seen it once in the UFC before, and I believe it was in America that they started throwing shit. But it was very early, very like.
All I'm saying is it's
before
very,
UFC 50.
very rare thing to happen. The potential's always there. It could always happen, but it doesn't.
I'm just saying you can't sit here and just blame Mexico City. Just carpet blame Mexico City and just be like, nope, they can't possibly go back there because fans threw shit. It's
I'm saying they won't, but
it's just it's not
curious. Like maybe they're having.
They'll be back. They'll be back in 8 months. They'll be back next year.
I don't think 8 months.
They'll be back next year. They'll be back next year.
In Mexico, yeah, actually,
in Mexico City, they'll be back next year. It has a gigantic stadium with a ton of people that care about the sport. They'll be back next year.
I agree. 2020, they will be back in Mexico City.
They will be,
sure.
Because they'll beef up the security. Sure. I won't be surprised. The deal with ESPN has got them infinitely more money than they were already worth when they sold for $3.5 billion or whatever it was a few years ago. Yeah. They'll beef up security even farther, and it'll be different.
And I think they're going to be talked to like, hey, don't.
I'm sure that'll be something that they discuss with like
maybe
the Mexican or however. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of it. Whatever the athletic commission or whatever it is for Mexico City.
It doesn't matter.
But
it doesn't.
Okay.
They'll talk to whoever they have to talk to, whoever that is.
They will. But I don't know. I think the potential to happen anywhere. I think if for some ungodly reason. You would have seen what happened to Anderson Silva in Brazil, where Cannonier just kicked his leg off to end the fight.
Yeah.
Where everybody booed and booed and booed and booed and booed Cannonier because he won.
Yeah, for sure.
If you, for some reason, had seen Poirier do the same thing to Khabib, I think people might not have thrown shit, but I think, again, you have the potential for that. People just getting so immensely pissed that their guy lost.
Have seen people throw shit. That's all I'm talking about.
But you just don't know.
All day, sure. Hiss and boo and fucking scream at him. Okay. Once you start throwing physical objects, it's like, fuck that shit. It's not necessarily against like Mexican people, but like the crowd was like, it was in Mexico City.
The crowd was heavily for one
Mexican,
guy. Heavily for one guy.
Two separate fighters in two completely different fights. One fighter gets shit thrown at them, and then the next fight there's eye poke, and he walks out and gets shit thrown at him. Like, happened twice. It wasn't just like a guy that they hated or who did something or who said something. It was two different fighters, one who couldn't continue and one who won. They just didn't agree with how it went down, so they started throwing shit. Like, not just a couple people. It was like a lot of people throwing.
Oh yeah, that's
said he got hit by coins, like pesos.
That's
like, what the fuck?
That's
man?
every gang mentality ever, though, or mob mentality.
Yeah,
ever. You get six people throwing shit. You get random people throwing shit, and then one guy's like, "Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah,
I don't like that guy either. They'll never be able to see it's me." Yeah, we're almost 45 into this.
That was more than 2 minutes.
So either way, it just sucked to see it.
Denmark.
Regardless, so you just mentioned Jared Cannonier beating Anderson Silva.
That was a good transition.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. He's fighting Jack Hermanson this weekend. That is the main event.
Awesome fight.
I got some stats here for you guys if you want to hear them.
Let's hear them.
Jack Hermanson, he is 20-4. He's his last 3 fights. He's won his last 3 fights by win. He beat Jacare Souza by decision. He submitted David Branch. And prior to that, he submitted Gerald Mearhart.
I believe it's something German, but yeah.
Yeah, something German like that. Mm-hmm. So he's on a 3-fight win streak at least. I only went back 3 fights because I'm not going to go back 6, 7, 8, 12 fights. So the last 3 fights, he's on 3 fight.
True.
He's won the last 3. And Cannonier has won his last 2. His TKO Anderson Silva when he kicked him in the leg.
He's still winning that whole fight, too.
Yeah, he's winning the fight. He fucked up his knee. Anderson couldn't continue, so he gets the TKO there. And then TKO with David Branch. Also beat David Branch, Jared Cannonier did. And then he lost to Dominic Reyes.
Okay, so Cannonier has only had 2 fights so far in UFC middleweight. This is going to be his 3rd fight at middleweight.
I think Reyes was middleweight, and then Branch up to light heavyweight.
Dominic Reyes is a light heavyweight.
Okay, so then it must have been maybe his last 2 fights and David Branch.
David Branch was middleweight.
Okay,
David Branch was middleweight.
Branch and Silva. So his last 2 fights were middleweight. So yeah, so his and since he's moved to middleweight, then he's had 2 wins.
Big
2 middleweight fights.
Big names.
2 wins.
good.
Yeah, David
good name.
Branch, Anderson Silva, especially Anderson Silva. I mean, you could argue he's over the hill.
It's a big name.
Agreed.
I agree.
A
He's over,
huge name.
I agree. He's over the hill.
Name.
But yeah, that's a big win for Cannonier, and it
Past
definitely-
his prime, but he'd still kick me in the face.
Oh, easily.
Well, he'd
Front kick.
fuck up any person, but
Except Jared Cannonier.
except for Jared.
So
Jared Cannonier is a beast.
Who would also
at
fuck up
185.
any
He's
person.
So jacked.
well, he used to fight at heavyweight.
That's what I'm saying.
He won. He's won at
heavyweight.
Yeah, he's won at heavyweight. He's won at light heavyweight, and he's now won at middleweight.
Undefeated at middleweight, 2-0.
Yep.
Against, like
Yep.
you said, two big names. So let's get predictions for that, my dudes.
I'm taking Hermanson on that one.
Hermanson?
I doubted Hermanson against Jacare, and he decisively beat Jacare, and I was very surprised, but I respected the hell out of him,
Yep.
and I think he's going to do the same thing against Cannonier.
He's
Cannonier's tough. We haven't seen him lose yet at middleweight, but I think this Saturday, tonight, this Saturday is going to be Cannonier's first loss at middleweight.
Okay, nice. Zach?
Give me Kill a Gorilla.
Kill a Gorilla. All
Awesome nickname.
right. Yeah, I'm going to go with Cannonier.
How?
I'm going to take Cannonier. Oh, boy.
I think it goes to a decision, honestly.
I don't see her. I'm kind of with you on that. I don't see Hermanson getting knocked out. He's a tough motherfucker.
Exactly. That's more my thing, is that he just won't get knocked out.
Yeah. I think decision. I think Cannonier.
I think his wrestling is good enough to hang with Hermanson.
Yeah. I like his striking. He's just a strong, big
His striking
dude.
is awesome, and
It
he's
is.
just so
Yes.
strong.
Yeah.
He is just so, like you're saying, he's coming down from fighting at like 40 pounds heavier than he's fighting at now.
Yeah.
The dude is strong.
And his cardio is probably amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Being at that lower weight
Again,
class,
he's
carrying
used to
around less
carry-
weight. He's used to carrying a
That's
lot
it
more.
right there. He's used to carrying so much weight, and now it's just like, oh,
Granted,
shit.
he has been a middle for a while now. He's been at 185. This is his third fight, so it's not like he's fresh, but
He's not testing the water.
But he is
No, I
so
think he's-
physically imposing.
he found out
At the
I
weight
mean
he's
that
at
almost in
now.
a good ways. Like he's figured out the weight cut. He's made it twice already. It's his third time going in there. Yeah, he
Main event.
fought two killers at that weight class already, and got two good wins.
I don't know how I have him
Two
winning.
knockouts.
I don't know how I have
TKOs.
Hermanson winning.
TKOs.
He's a submission guy. I don't see him knocking out
Yes, he
Cannonier.
is.
I was going to say, I think if I saw Hermanson winning, it'd be the same way. It'd be decision.
Decision.
Yeah. I don't think I see either one of them finishing the other.
Right.
Flash KOs are always a thing.
Like you don't think Hermanson getting like a submission on Cannonier?
Finding something.
If he can somehow get him to the ground, but what Zach was saying was Cannonier so physically strong that he can do two double
It's a good
underhooks
wrestling.
and just throw him like
His
a,
wrestling is really good.
yeah. I mean, he is just so strong that if he can get him to the ground, I think Hermanson has an advantage. But I can't remember anything.
I think so
about,
too, but I don't think it's
I agree
enough.
with that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's enough. And I don't think that Hermanson's submission game is enough.
He
to throw it
He
in.
submitted Branch, but I can't remember.
Submitted Branch and Meerhart.
I can't remember Cannonier's ground game.
It's just wrestling.
Is this a wrestling? It's not really submission, right?
No. It's a lot of wrestling. But like we just keep saying, he's so insanely strong
His
that I think
wrestling's
he
good
can
enough
just kind
where
of.
he doesn't allow Hermanson to get good positioning.
The thing
Get
we've
the
seen.
submission, then Hermanson's not going to do anything.
The thing I think we've seen a lot recently is even these jiu-jitsu guys, they can get the position, but if you have a guy that is just physically strong enough to keep your hands from doing what you want him to do after you have that position, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like we just saw it in the, I can't remember what fight it was, where the dude took his back for the entire third round last week.
Uriah Hall.
But
Uriah Hall
and Uriah just held onto his
Yes.
wrist for the
Yep.
entire third round and was like, fine, we'll sit here, but you're
Nothing
not
happened.
going to submit me.
Unless-
you are not going to do
Nothing
anything.
happened in that
Unless you are that great of a submission artist like Damian Maia or Jacare, you need some strength, and if the other guy is stronger than you, I'm talking like I know this.
Damian Maia.
You're not gonna submit him. And
No.
It's a big fight coming up, by the way.
That'll be fun. That one will be fun too. But
Yep.
yeah, no, I think Cannonier takes it. I think Kill a Gorilla gets him,
Yep.
which
Agreed.
and I
that'll be a
disagree.
lot of fun. I think that's gonna be another good fight, which I hope
Hey,
doesn't
Ryan,
end
you want to make a bet on that fight?
in a damn
It is
eye
It
poke.
is the main event.
I lose
Wanna put a
every
little bet?
single
You
time.
want to put a little bet on Hermanson? I'll bet Cannonier.
Yeah, let's do it.
What do you want to do? What do you
Shot of
wanna
hot
bet?
sauce.
Shot of hot sauce?
Shot of hot
Jesus.
sauce. I'm taking Hermanson. I'm taking Hermanson.
I'll take Cannonier. Shot of hot sauce.
Put it on the board.
There we go.
All right, here we go.
Gonna drink more hot sauce.
Zach, could you hand me another beer, please?
I will honestly say I know nothing about the fight preceding those two.
You're very far.
I know. You're fine. Don't worry about it. I'm trying to talk into the damn microphone.
People can wait a second.
Taking a 3-second break here.
No, they can't.
Thanks, bro.
Mark Madsen and Danilo Bolarudo?
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know this one.
See, I don't really either.
This is
Yeah,
a
Moving on.
Moving on to
Gunnar Nelson, Gilbert Burns.
Gunnar Nelson is
Two jiu-jitsu
17
guys.
and 4, and Gilbert Burns is 16 and 3. Gilbert Burns has won his last 3 fights. A decision against Alexei Konchenko. Is that how you say that last name?
I believe so.
It was a decision, and then he won a submission over Mike Davis, and a decision over Oliveira Aubin Mercier. So he's won his last 3, so he's on a little bit of a run right now, Gilbert Burns. And then Gunnar Nelson, he just lost pretty recently against Leon Edwards. Edwards is on, what, a 9
It's a tear.
fight win streak. Edwards is tearing up that division right now.
Mhm.
And it was a decision.
It's too bad he's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't
His
say
fight
Gunnar
style is
got,
boring.
Like, fucked up, but like Leon, he dominated the fight to
Yeah.
an extent. Like
Yep.
he's got amazing wrestling. He's a really technical guy. So, and then prior to that, Gunnar Nelson had a submission win over Alex Oliveira,
Cowboy.
and Cowboy Oliveira. And then he prior to that, he got KO'd by Santiago Ponzinibbio,
Who knocks out a lot of guys.
who also is a good knockout artist, a beast. So he's lost 2 of his last 3 fights, Gunnar Nelson has, but that's half of his losses right there are in his last 3 fights. And they're against Leon Edwards and Ponzinibbio. Like,
Two guys in the
Two
top,
fucking
what,
killers.
5?
Top 5, yeah.
yeah. So I don't think I really take much away from him from those 3 losses.
No.
You know?
I wouldn't either.
Like, I don't think it helps him, but I don't think it hurts him a lot either. So, what do you guys got for this one? Gunnar Nelson, Gilbert Burns. This is going to be a fun fucking fight.
Both are jiu-jitsu guys, so I don't really see a submission by either guy.
Okay.
I'm taking Gunnar Nelson, though. Probably
Take
by...
Gunnar?
Yeah, I think he's a better jiu-jitsu artist,
Sure.
but I believe he's going to win this one by decision.
Okay. Go ahead, man.
So, a few years ago, the country of Iceland was in the World Cup. I believe it was the men's team. And it was like the first time they'd ever made it that far in the World Cup. So ESPN sent guys to Iceland to just, check out the country, see some more about it. To the point where this guy that went and visited Iceland from ESPN, Marty Smith, got to meet like the president of Iceland and stuff like that. Just like so easily, because Iceland is this tiny little country. Not a lot of people.
Sounds true.
The most famous person, the most famous athlete in Iceland, Gunnar Nelson.
No shit.
So they
He's
send him
strong
to
man or something.
right.
Oh, yeah.
So they send him to Gunnar Nelson's house, which is not a house, according to Marty Smith. It is more like a mansion that he owns in Iceland. Knocks on the front door. Guy comes to the front door. It's apparently, I don't want to say butler, but something along those lines. Some sort of person that works for Gunnar Nelson.
A sex slave.
No. Guy answers the door and
Icelandic sex slave.
he goes, oh, I'm here to interview Gunnar Nelson. He goes, oh, well, come with me. Takes him out back. Gunnar Nelson sitting in a hot tub with not 1, not 2, perhaps 3, though, Icelandic supermodels.
Awesome.
I think Gunnar Nelson wins. I'm pretty sure Gunnar Nelson wins.
I just gained so much respect through that story. Good for him.
I'm taking Gilbert Burns.
Ooh.
He's on a tear right now. He's been looking really good his last fights. He's got a lot of experience too. He's 16 and 3, so he's just got almost just as many fights in the octagon as Gunnar Nelson does.
Probably hasn't banged as many Icelandic supermodels.
Probably hasn't, but I think that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna take Gilbert Burns. I think he's gonna finish him in the second round.
Damn.
He's gonna finish him in the second round. He's gonna knock him out.
Knock him out.
I think he's gonna knock out Nelson.
Man.
Yep.
Wow.
I think Gunnar, being a tough motherfucker, being a really good fighter,
I should have put hot sauce on this one.
I think it's gonna happen. I think Gilbert Burns is gonna finish him. He's gonna knock him out in the second round, or he's gonna stop him. I don't think he's gonna knock him out cold. I think he's gonna finish him. You're going to finish him in the second round.
Quite.
I'm still wearing my rain jacket.
Thank you. You are. Yeah, it's making noise when you move. I'm wondering if the mics are picking it up.
I hope so.
I'm really curious. I hope so, too.
We'll find out.
Um,
Comment below if you hear Zach's jacket.
Yeah, please leave.
So you guys were just talking about this.
If you hear his jacket. If you hear his jacket.
Subscribe if you can hear my jacket. So
We are
12
good.
subscribers. Let's get 13.
just for the jacket.
We at
Just
12?
for the jacket. We're at 12
I believe
subscribers.
so. Wow.
We have 12 subs. Thanks, guys. 12.
You guys were just talking
Let's
about
get
this
more.
next fight. I guess it's before the last one, but
Yeah, Ian,
I don't know too much about.
Ian Cutelaba.
I
Yeah.
think it's Ian.
I think it's Ian too, but I've heard it's like Ian.
Either way, Khalil Roundtree.
Yep,
Yes.
Khalil Roundtree. He is like one of my favorite guys to watch. I fucking love Roundtree, man. I hope he wins. I got him winning. I'll break it down for you again, like I have been. Cutelaba is 14-4. Khalil Roundtree is 8-3. So Cutelaba has definitely got some more fights.
One no contest for each.
Yep, one no contest. Cutelaba, he lost his last fight. He got submitted by Glover Teixeira.
His nickname is the Hulk. Cutelaba.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's jacked. He's a
He
jacked
is. He
white
is.
guy.
He's very big.
He's pale as hell.
He's from Moldova.
So is Khalil.
Oh, yeah,
Khalil's
Rutria was very
fucking
large.
jacked as well.
I thought you meant
He's
that he's
very
pale.
large.
I'm like, he's not pale. I was like, he's pale as he's pale as shit, and you're like, so is Roundtree.
Khalil's also very pale for a black guy, I guess.
You know what? Khalil Roundtree is the ugly duckling. He is the caterpillar that turned into a beautiful butterfly.
Yes.
The transformation he
Not
has
Yes.
the word I would have used to describe him as pale.
butterfly. That's the
I
way
like
I'm.
that. He's a butterfly. Yes.
His
Dude, well
fighting
said.
style has
Yeah.
just evolved amazingly.
Dude, I get excited when I see him on a fight card now.
Yeah,
Ever since just his last fight.
Yeah,
Like, Eric Anders, man, he fucked him up.
yeah.
Those leg kicks were so fast.
And
so
Anders
crisp.
is a tough motherfucker too.
He is, and he fucking picked him apart.
Yeah.
Prior to that, though, he did get knocked out by Jeremy Stevens. Or, nope. Johnny Walker.
I was gonna say, he's a little big for Jeremy Stevens.
Yeah, Khalil's a little on the big side for Jeremy Stevens.
One-eyed
Might eat Jeremy
Yeah,
Stevens.
Khalil Roundtree's not making 145 anytime soon. No, Johnny Walker. I apologize.
Oh, good.
Johnny Walker Blue?
Yep. And then prior to that, though, he knocked out Gokhan Saki.
Yeah,
Khalil did.
yeah. That was.
So he's won 2 of his last 3.
But since his Muay Thai transformation, he's. I think he's only on one fight with the Muay Thai transformation.
He's had 1 fight since he went to Thailand and started training like hardcore Muay Thai. He's had 1 fight.
Yeah.
And in that fight, he
looked
fucking
amazing. So
can't wait.
If
Can't
he
wait.
if he
Cannot
can
wait.
follow that up, he's gonna beat Cutelaba, and he's probably gonna
so,
be
too.
top 5.
Yep.
Not beating Cutelaba, whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah,
But by the end of
Cutelaba.
2020, he will be top 5. Mark my words. Mark my words. Jesus
By the
Christ.
end of next year, you think so?
Yeah.
I
If
think so too.
if he can
I don't
continue
even think he's
look
ranked right now in the top 10.
if he can
Pretty sure he's
continue looking like he has, he's
Yeah.
gonna be top 5.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I really hope so. I like him a lot. He was on Rogan, and it made me like him even more. Just
Yeah.
the type of guy he is, really super down to earth. Just nice
Neither
dude.
guy is top 15 currently.
Okay. So maybe after this fight, one of them can maybe break into the top 15.
Yeah, I could see it.
Hopefully.
You got Nikita Krylov falling off.
This is light heavyweight, middleweight, light heavyweight. I
Light
believe.
heavy.
Light heavyweight.
And is this Shogun Hua that they still have at 14?
It is. He hasn't fought in a while.
I
Interesting.
guess so.
Khalil can take his spot after he
Right.
wins against Cutelaba.
That's kind of crazy. I was looking at him going, Mauricio Hua? Like Shogun?
That's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's under the top 10. They don't give a fuck, apparently.
What else we got? Because we're
Kinda,
at
sorta.
58.
Yeah,
58 minutes.
we were at 45 when we were still
Okay.
talking about people
Owen
throwing
St.
shit in New
Preux,
Mexico.
OSP's coming back. He's going to be fighting against a guy whose name is hard to pronounce, Michael Oleksiejczuk.
OSP is hot and cold. I'm thinking he's going to be hot this time. I'm taking OSP.
Sure. OSP being 23-13. This dude, Michael, with the cool last name, is 14-2. 14-2. Coming off 2 wins, knockout over Antiglova, and Antigulov and a knockout on John Vellante. Both first-round knockouts. So Michael's coming off 2 round 1 knockouts, and prior to those 2 last fights, his 3 fights ago, he actually had a draw against Roundtree.
Okay. I didn't know this guy's fought that much.
Yeah,
in
he's
UFC.
actually has multiple fights in UFC. I've never heard of him either. I think it's just the last name. I don't know how to say it, so it doesn't stick in my fucking head.
Yeah. Same.
It's very unrecognizable. OSP.
OSP's last 3. What do we got?
His last 2 fights he lost. He got submitted by Nikita Krylov, and he lost a decision to Dominic Reyes. Prior to that, he submitted Tyson Pedro. So he's won 1 of his last 2. His last 2 fights, or he's won 1 of his last 3. His last 2, he's got back-to-back losses. Decision and then a submission.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the record. Zach, hang on 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up the record because now I'm not really sure if I take OSP.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm gonna throw it in there just as my own 2 cents on his last name, Oleksichuk.
Okay.
Does that
Sure.
sound?
Oleksichuk.
I just mean like if I didn't know if that would hit you.
Oleksichuk.
Oleksichuk. It's the only thing I can think
It
because.
never sounds like what it's.
Oh no,
looks
it
like.
doesn't.
I
But
don't know what it is.
I do like that they try and get people. I don't know what nationality he necessarily is, but I do like that they try and get some European people. He's Polish, so they try and get people from close around these places
in
that
the
they have the
area.
fights now. I do
sure.
like that they try and bring in the locals a little bit more rather than just like pounding them in the face with the. I don't know, with the guys that they don't care about.
Because how many Denmark fighters are there really in the UFC? So you kind of
Probably not many, but I know they
Gunnar
kind
Nelson.
of they like to try and claim the area. I know Hermanson said that. Hermanson said that he
Where's
wanted
Hermanson
to
from?
be
He's,
Norway, I think,
wanna
or
say-
Swedish. I think it's
he's Swedish.
Norway.
I know
think
that-
it's actually. You know what? No, I think you're right
Pretty
because
sure he's a
the
Swede.
random as hell.
Swedish. Swedish.
My brother's family had a what the hell are they called? An exchange student from Norway, and we were talking about fighting at one point, and there was like nobody from Norway.
Shit.
Yeah.
I think Hermanson's going to be considered the hometown favorite though, or the hometown guy.
Oh yeah,
in
he
the
says
main event.
Sweden.
Swedes.
Um,
he is from Sweden then.
Yes. He said this week that he wanted to be like the most notable Nordic fighter.
He's getting there.
So
I
he
mean,
wants
well,
to-
he's going to have to take it
The
from
Joker.
Gustafsson.
By the way.
Yeah, Gustafsson.
Gustafsson. And he's even talking about a comeback.
Oh God, again.
Gus is?
So is Rashad Evans.
Rashad Evans, outside of the
Rashad.
UFC, wants to be released from the UFC so that he can
Oh,
fight again.
shit.
He
Was
says,
this with the...
if I'm remembering correctly, he switched to like a vegan diet, and so now he's thinking that he can come back again. This is happening with a lot of people.
It's really funny that like he's like, oh cool, thanks for the Hall of Fame. Can I be released by UFC
Right.
now?
Did you hear Nate Diaz? This is random as hell, but at
Go
the
ahead.
the press conference with Diaz and Masvidal, somebody asked him about his vegan diet, and he was basically like, "You wanna fight me?" Like I know I don't eat meat, but like
Terminator's vegan motherfucker.
yeah, like you want to get up here and fuck with me, dude? Because you think you eat meat, you're cool.
Yeah, right. That was funny though. That was cool. That dude had some stupid questions. He just like that was an interesting press conference. Diaz and Masvidal because they had like some good, decent questions. It was only 25 minutes long.
I am so
They
excited
had like
for that
4 or
fight.
5 good questions, and then there was just like fans asking bullshit, and then he's like, "Okay, we're one more question, we're done here." It's like, did they not have like a bunch of people stacked like media ready to ask like legitimate good questions? It didn't.
Right.
It was
Nah.
weird. Like I was disappointed. Nothing to do with the fighters or the press conference itself. It was just like, where are all the good questions at right now? Like, what the fuck's going on? with
Where's
press
everybody
conference?
wanting?
There's one more fight on that
He did
card.
ask a
Sorry,
question,
he did ask
actually.
a question, a couple questions.
My bad.
One more fight on this card, only because we're a little over an hour right now, and there are
Sure.
a couple more good things to get into before we cut this off.
Yeah.
So there's one more good fight on this card, Cowboy Oliveira.
Yes.
Yep.
Um,
Is it Oliveira or Oliveira?
Oliveira, I believe
Oliveira,
you're right. I'm sorry.
Oliveira.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. I was,
You got it.
And Nicholas
You got it.
Dalby.
Dalby.
Nick Dalby hasn't fought since September 2016.
I was gonna say, wasn't that
Which is
Yep.
He's from
crazy.
Denmark though.
Yep.
So I'm sure that's why
He's
they
right
they convinced him to come out of
His
retirement.
last fight was a decision against Zach Cummings. I believe. Actually.
Is Dolby,
Wow.
Is Dolby fighting Cowboy?
No, his last fight was
Yes,
a
he's
win.
fighting Cowboy Oliveira.
The fight prior to that in the same year was a loss. So he lost, then he won, and then he hasn't fought since September.
This is something I've never seen before. His average fight time is 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So does that mean
Decision
that he
every
has
time.
literally never had a fight end early?
He's never
That's
finished.
that's
he's
what I
never
mean.
been-
Exactly.
he's never been finished.
Yeah, that's fine. But
And he is Nicholas Dalby is 17-3, so he's got a lot of
that's
fights.
kind of crazy.
A lot of
He's got
decisions.
20
It says
he's got
decisions
20
are
professional
50%
fights.
of his fights, but then how is his average fight time 15 minutes? That seems weird.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he's been in some main events that have gone the full 25.
Not in UFC.
I hadn't heard of his name
he
until
is.
we said it 5 minutes ago.
I mean, neither.
Or
know who
sorry, you
we know
told
who
me that
Cowboy
he hadn't
Oliveira
fought
is.
since two. Oh, I know who Cowboy.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Oliveira
I'm saying
is.
we knew who Cowboy Oliveira was.
Oh, yeah.
I was just saying that.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
Which sometimes he has a random bad attitude.
Oliveira?
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
put that in there.
Sure, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. what you're
I just
talking
think he's a
about,
little pissy.
Yeah,
I mean, whatever.
When he
You think so,
fought,
too?
I don't
Really?
mean to be. I don't mean to be a dick, but you see it a lot with the Brazilian fighters.
Okay.
There's like a lot of them that are just kind of like. I don't know. I
fucking
don't know if
racist.
it's no. I don't know if it's necessarily like a like because a lot of them do have the language barrier where like sometimes they feel like they're being a little bit persecuted for not speaking English all the time. I feel like Anderson Silva does that a little bit because he always kind of gave off this little bit of a "don't fucking talk to me" vibe.
well,
Yeah.
when Alex Oliveira fought Will Brooks,
Maybe,
he missed weight.
I feel like he's like the nicest guy ever.
Will Brooks,
No, I'm not saying that he's not, but there's definitely times when he's been kind of like he's pushed people away on stuff.
Okay.
Well, I mean, when Alex Oliveira fought Will Brooks, Oliveira missed weight. He won somehow. I forgot how he won, and then was super disrespectful, like shoving him after the bell. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's done this, I think, twice. Will Brooks, I forgot the other one, but like, but then other times he's like super cool and he's like dancing around with his cowboy hat and all that. I don't know.
Right.
Just
He always
really
comes out with the cowboy hat on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
He's a legit cowboy. He
No,
rode
maybe guy,
bulls.
you're in a fight. Maybe
That's what I always kind
some
of
guys
chalked it
fight
up
kind of
to.
dirty. We don't always see it.
I
Maybe
don't
he
like
was
him.
grabbing his glove, or he was, the dude he's fighting. Brooks might have been trying to do some shit. Or
Don't
maybe,
miss weight.
Maybe he said something.
Don't miss weight.
I'm
I've
not
always
trying to
chalked
make
a lot of
excuses
that.
For it. I'm just saying, like, I'm always speaking from because I've never seen it, and like, there's always a reason for something. Like, if a dude is like doesn't do that shit all the time, it's just like happened a couple times. There's always extenuating circumstances to certain things.
Well, and that's the thing with.
Or maybe he's just kind of an asshole sometimes.
Well, that's the thing with even
don't know,
like Anderson Silva too. The time that I've ever seen him be pissy is in fights. It's not like in interviews after fights.
Yeah.
It's if
Yeah, your adrenaline's high.
exactly,
You just had a
exactly.
fucking
So
fight.
I'm
You guys
not
were just
like
punching and
I'm not
kicking each
like
other in
chalking
the
it up
face.
saying the dude's an asshole. I'm just
Yeah.
saying like the
Sure,
times
sure,
that you
sure,
see him
sure.
get pissed off at people. I like to bring it all back. I don't necessarily think that Yair Rodriguez is some sort of like pissed off asshole. But I think people were grabbing all over him, and so when Bisping all of a sudden grabbed him from behind, he kind of flipped and was like, "Can people stop fucking grabbing me?"
Okay.
All right. Everybody's favorite random ass thoughts at the end.
Ooh. Go ahead.
Ready.
So we were just talking about the press conference with Diaz and Masvidal.
Yes.
Prior to that, Masvidal was on ESPN giving a couple interviews. He scared the ever-loving shit out of Mike Greenberg. He straight up told him, well, Greenberg asked him about Conor McGregor because he said, hey, we've heard a little bit about McGregor and now there's talks about him maybe coming back.
Blah, blah, blah.
And Masvidal
Fuck
said,
that.
hey, management says no. Management says I'm too big for him. He says, quote, they don't want a murder charge on me. I don't want to go to jail for killing nobody. I loved it.
Fucking
I loved it. And I mean, I like McGregor, but I loved that quote of
Dude.
just like, hey, so we're out here to fight each other. And Masvidal has said it before. Like, the fights that get him up in the morning are the ones where it's kill or be killed. It's
Yep.
not the Ben Askren fight. He goes,
No.
that doesn't. He goes, what's the. I remember hearing him talk
I
about
remember
that.
saying it didn't
What's-
excite him.
No.
He goes,
He
"I'm
goes,
not
what's
excited
the
about
worst
that
that's going to
fight."
happen to me? He goes, dude's going to hug me up for points for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
He goes, at least I know when I go in. He goes, I don't have to set my alarm to fight Nate Diaz, to get up to train for Nate Diaz. He goes, because
Yeah.
he knows that he's going to come in trying to kill me.
It's going to be such a good fight
I'm so excited.
Everyone's so excited for that
as
one.
well.
It's gonna be.
That's a people's main event, and
Fight of the
probably
fucking
gonna be the
year.
main event.
It's definitely
It's the main event, dude.
Good.
It's definitely
unless
the
they
main event.
somehow,
It's already
somehow make Usman and Colby on that. Somehow.
I feel like at this point, it's too late for that. There's no fucking way. People would lose their shit if they moved Diaz and
I mean, they're
Masvidal to a
piling
co-main
other good
event.
fights onto there, just nothing main event worthy.
Masvidal and Diaz are the main event.
I know.
There's no way.
But that's the funniest part. Is okay. So, what's the last fight we saw Vicente Luque?
Recently,
Rochester.
we just saw him.
Oh no.
He fought Mike Perry.
Yes.
Broke Mike Perry's nose.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What's the last fight we saw Stephen Thompson getting knocked out by Anthony Pettis?
Yep.
But the last time that Masvidal lost,
Yeah.
Stephen Thompson. But Stephen Thompson is fighting 3 fights ahead of him on that
Right.
card at MSG.
Right.
Because nobody gives a shit anymore. Because the people's main event, the real main event, the actual main event, is Diaz Masvidal.
And it is the main event.
Oh yeah, but
It's the
that's
people's
what
main
makes me
event
laugh
and
is
the
that
actual main event.
Everybody Masvidal has flown so high in the last year that it
Shut
doesn't
up.
matter that he lost to
Did
this
you
guy
see
a
what
year ago.
Stephen Thompson said about that?
No, I didn't.
Wonderboy actually said. He said it inspires him to see Masvidal getting such a big name so quickly because it makes him realize that all it takes is a couple really big wins,
Mhm.
and he could be right back up there too, because he's lost his last 2 fights. So he goes, if I have 2 really big wins, I could easily just be right back up there, right at the top, just like Masvidal is.
He could have
it
easily
inspires
taken
me,
out
and I'm
Pettis.
really happy for him. So
He was so close to
Wonderboy's
taking out
always
Pettis.
like that. He's always been
Oh,
like a stand-up.
you want to talk
like,
about somebody who's going to go in with respect every single time, and you're never going to hear
Yes.
anybody say
Yeah.
that he was an assoul to anybody. It's Wonderboy.
Absolutely.
Because he's
the
from
nicest dude ever.
because he's from
Yeah.
South Carolina, and that's where I want to go.
South Carolina.
So the
South
other
Carolina.
thing that I got from that press conference, which was great, I don't remember if it was Ariel Helwani's question or not. I honestly think it was, talking to Masvidal about his nickname of Street Jesus or Cuban Jesus. And they asked him about that. And his quote was, I got one talent. I can baptize people. But that's it. I loved it. I loved it, man. It's just so good. That's the only reason, maybe not the only reason. I think it would be a fun fight to see him and McGregor, which is actually something that they've talked about already
I would
now.
love to see him fuck up McGregor. That'd be great.
But I think the 2 leading up to that, the quotes you'd get from those press conferences ahead of time
for
would
sure.
just be gold.
Definitely.
The 2 of them going back and
Absolutely.
forth would just be
See,
great.
this was a fun press conference between the 2 of them because Diaz and Masvidal were both saying like clever shit and they were being funny, but they weren't necessarily talking a lot of shit to each other.
No, I don't think you're going to
if you
see
fought McGregor-
any shit talking to each other. I
think
don't
so
think you're
either.
gonna.
They
They're
respect each other.
They're
Yes.
gonna bro hug after. They're
Oh, I think
100%
they
gonna
are.
bro
I
hug.
think they're going to be both bloody fucking messes at the end of this
Yeah,
fight,
definitely.
and they're going to hug each other and laugh their asses off all the way to the bank.
Yep.
I
Because
hope
people
it
are gonna
ends that
pay
way. It's possible that one of them gets finished early on. It's
Yeah.
possible, but
But even
you'll
if-
hope that it doesn't happen, though.
It won't be a KO,
really
though.
hope it doesn't happen.
It'll be a TKO. It won't be a KO. It'll be a TKO. It'll be something that happens
Most
where
likely,
it'll
yeah.
be some monster cut on one
Yeah.
of them that they won't be able to finish, or the freaking Cerrone style bust an orbital or something.
Some crazy shit. Yeah, you never know.
And again, there'll be bloody messes and they'll be hugging in the middle of the ring, laughing their asses off.
Absolutely.
They're like, I respect you. I respect
I'm
you.
so
Definitely.
excited for that fight.
That BMF belt, baby. Got anything else? Zach?
Random BMF belt talk. Leon Edwards says,
go
fuck
ahead.
that shit. I'm not a journeyman. That's a journeyman's belt.
Someone else has
Okay,
said
Leon
that.
Edwards.
Leon
Thanks,
Edwards, fine, but I think you're boring.
You
so.
gotta respect him for the. I mean, for the.
He has a nice
that he's
streak.
on. He's winning fights, dude. The dude goes out there and wins fights. I respect that too. Just-
His problem right now is that he's got
it's
Colby
not
ahead.
exciting.
He's got Colby ahead of him in the rankings, besides the fact he's not exciting. He's got
He's
Colby
not.
ahead of him.
Nobody cares about
He's
him.
got
It's
Kamaru
sad
Usman
almost.
ahead of him, obviously, because he's the champion.
Yeah.
But you've got
You got these two
Kamaru,
motherfuckers.
who hasn't fought in forever. It's been 8 months since he fought.
Is
We
a
went over
champ-
this last
is a
time.
Champ and someone who's not injured. It's someone who was offered a fight.
It's ridiculous.
November 2nd.
It's ridiculous. We went over this last time. Masvidal's fought 3 times since then.
Yeah, exactly.
I
I don't think he should be stripped, but it is.
It's getting close, man.
It is a legitimate conversation to start talking about dude, when are you going to fight again?
Shit or get off the pot,
but
dude.
I don't think the being stripped of his belt is a conversation.
You
we should
cannot
be having yet.
be a champ who's not injured who fights once a year.
Now, why did they give Colby the interim? How long did Tyron not fought?
I don't remember,
Because
honestly.
Tyron refused to fight, or he was injured or
Was
something.
it his foot?
Something. I thought it was his shoulder or something. But
Shoulder
going
surgery?
back
That
to
sounds right. Yeah, because I remember him being
In a sling?
yeah,
pretty sure.
going
Yeah,
back
he was in a sling for a while.
going back
It
to
was, he
Edwards
beat
though.
he beat RDA for the interim title, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to
And they
Edwards.
stripped him after like 3 months or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like 4 or 5
As
months.
soon as he started shooting his mouth off. But going back to Edwards, he's just copying exactly what Colby said. Colby was the first person to say, "Oh, that's a journeyman's title," and now Leon Edwards is literally copying journeyman's title. Like, come up with your own thing.
See, I didn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah.
They should just have those two fight. Just have Colby and Leon fight. If
Sure.
they can't make a deal for Usman, then just I don't know, man.
It's almost
That's
sad to see
tough.
about Leon too. He's like the dude's winning fights. He's doing what fighters supposed to do. He's going out there and he's winning every time he goes into the octagon. And he's getting nothing from
No,
it,
but exactly.
basically,
I mean,
you
we
know?
were just
No one
saying
was
it.
talking about Leon
It's
Edwards.
not. It's Jorge having back-to-back knockouts.
Yeah.
And big knockouts. I mean,
He's
you
exciting.
get
He's
a
exciting.
KO where he knocks out a guy 10 years younger than him, who's
Yeah.
like the biggest
Yep.
prospect in that
When
division.
Jorge
knocks him
Masvidal
out.
walks into the octagon, you never know what's going to happen.
Talking till.
It's exciting.
Yes.
You're on the end of your seat. When Nate Diaz walks into the octagon, you never know what you're going to see. You're excited to watch it. When Leon Edwards walks into the octagon,
It's a decision.
he'll probably just wrestle him to the ground, maybe do a little ground and pound, maybe he'll get a submission. If
Well,
he
that's
gets
the
good
thing.
Position, you know, maybe he has some decent stand-up. It might be a little back and forth. He'll probably just get the win based off control.
I don't want to say
Meh.
two of like the most iconic moments in like UFC, but think about like, I mean, he's made that his like logo now. Jorge has that flying knee that he landed on Asker.
Or the pose he was doing before the whole.
exactly.
Yeah,
The hands behind his back.
Yeah.
And then you think about, at least with me, the first thing I think about when I think of Diaz is him fucking triangle choking that dude with his legs and celebrating with his hands
Middle finger,
while
right?
he's
Yeah.
fucking choking him out.
You know what? Now
I
think
mean,
about it?
that's just great. When
Yeah.
you think about those two guys going against each other, that's
Yeah.
just like,
And
man.
when I say you don't know what's going to happen, I don't mean necessarily when they go into that thing, you don't know what's going to happen, like, as far as the fight goes. There is that aspect, too, like, as far as, like, what they're going to do during the fight.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, what type of crazy, exciting, out there
They're
shit
both
are they gonna
creative.
pull
They're both kind of
Yeah.
just. I don't
just to
want
get you
to.
excited and pumped up during the fight, let alone before the fight.
Not the same
Leon
way
Edwards,
as
like, he's
fucking.
it's very traditional. He's a very traditional fighter. He does everything he does very well. So much respect for him, but he doesn't get. I don't think Leon gets enough respect, man. I'll just say it. I don't think he gets enough respect from everybody.
The thing is, then I think it's always going to be this way in any sort of professional fighting. Is if you're not doing enough to incite crowd reaction, people
Yeah.
aren't going to pay as much attention.
I
to
agree.
you.
100%. That's exactly
People
what's
just aren't going to
happening.
pay attention.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how
It is
good you
what it
are.
is.
People just aren't going to pay attention.
I'm definitely not upset about it, but you just said it. You nailed it perfectly.
Was-
It sucks, but dude, like, you're just not an exciting enough.
Mhm.
Not exciting enough.
Exactly.
Guy to watch.
Exactly.
To get people talking about you.
Although I
But if he keeps winning, he'll get a shot. All he's gonna do is keep winning.
Hmm.
Go ahead.
I mean, Colby keeps on winning, but thank
But
God
he
hasn't got
keeps
shot.
talking shit. That's the
Does.
thing.
Luckily, Edwards has actually kind of not invented that Jorge Masvidal pose, but Jorge walked up to him with his hands behind his back and did that same pose to him. That's the first time we saw the pose, and then we saw it against Ben Askren. So thank you, Leon Edwards, for that.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, we good, boys? I think we should end this.
We're
We've
good.
been going on. This is a long
yeah.
one.
That was a
You
good
want
one.
to?
We got a lot of shit to talk about. I feel like somehow we gotta have.
I
a
have
lot
2
of
more
shit.
Connor stories.
All right, man. Go ahead.
Go.
If you
All right,
want
let's
to,
run
go
through them
ahead.
super quick.
Go ahead, rock.
So,
I haven't
TMZ
danced
reports
to-
Connor to fight early 2020, eyeing match with Diaz or Masvidal. I'm guessing it's the winner. I don't like it. I could be wrong, but I think he has a better chance against those guys than Habib.
Yep.
Yes.
I think, and I don't. I like Connor. I don't think he wants to fight Habib again. I do not think that he wants to deal with that again. I think he knows he'd get beat again, and I don't think he wants to. We've said it before.
Think Connor wants to fight anyone.
No, I think he does. I think he
I don't
wants
think
to.
he
I think he
does.
wants to
He's
make
a
money.
Big pussy.
No, I think he wants to go in there and make money. I don't think any guy that's ever walked in.
I'm with him.
I don't think any guy that's ever walked into a ring you can ever call a big pussy because they've walked into a ring and have punched people in the face for money.
One.
I
I
don't.
Has been.
I
I
just
never
nope.
think he was. I think he is one now.
I don't think so.
I'm with you, Zach. Don't worry.
So, I just don't think. I think he knows that if he went to 155, and it wouldn't matter who the hell they put him against, but if he won 2 fights at 155, they'd shoehorn him right back into fighting Khabib. And we've been over this before. His least favorite thing to do is get choked out, and that is the first thing that Khabib would do to him is jump on his back and RNC him. So, and then randomly, which I didn't really understand this one, Conor called out Frankie Edgar. They fought before.
Yeah,
They've never fought.
They really haven't fought?
Connor's
I thought they'd fought
Frankie.
before.
No.
Okay.
Yes to him calling him out. Not to. Yeah.
I'm confusing him with, we've talked about this before, the little Sean Shirt clones.
Chad Mendes.
So, randomly, called out Frankie Edgar. Edgar accepted. The last time we heard from Frankie Edgar was him saying he was going to drop to 135.
Yeah.
So I'm a little confused. We're imagining that Frankie Edgar is going to come back at 135. Conor's going to come back at 155. We said last week we didn't think Conor was probably going to drop down to 145, but there's no way Edgar's going to jump all the way up to 155.
I think he will.
So I'll go here. You think Edgar moves up to 155?
Yes.
I would agree with that. If they fight at 155 and Edgar moves up. I really just don't see Conor, unless it's a really big fight, like you said earlier, a championship. Not on the podcast, but what you said to me earlier. Unless it's a championship
that
fight,
would be a main event.
Unless Conor fights Max, he's not going down to one. I don't see him going to 145. It's such a hard weight for him to make, and he hasn't made it. It's been, I think, over 3 years since he fought at 145. He's bigger now. He's older now. He's definitely put on muscle. You can tell just by looking at the guy that he's put on muscle since then. I really
That's why I was
see
super
him making
confused by the whole
145
thing.
again, man.
That's why I was super confused by the whole
confusing.
thing.
I agree. Yeah, I'm with you. It's weird, and I'm with you. If they do fight, I bet Edgar goes to 155.
He would get smoked
He would.
at 155.
Would he?
Just smoked.
Edgar would.
Smoked.
Edgar would get smoked.
Smoked.
I don't know.
Smoked.
Edgar's not
First round, smoked.
Edgar would not. Edgar's not worth Conor going down to 155. Well,
No, because
he's at 155.
it's not worth him
145.
going down to 145
Either.
only because then I think he has a chance. Then I think Edgar's got a shot because I think you've got a less powerful
Yes.
McGregor at 145.
Edgar's fighting at 145, and Conor cuts all that weight to get to 145. That's a good fight.
I still think Conor's
Got a
ground
chance.
game isn't a lot, but he's also had several years to work on it since we've seen him do anything, and I think that if he's smart, which that's... His judgment at times is in question. I don't think that he's a stupid fighter, though. I think he knows what he's not good at. So you would think
He's a
that
great
after
fighter.
he
He's
got...
really high fight IQ.
Well, that's what I mean, though, is that if you went
He's
into that
just
last
idiot
fight, get
outside the
choked out by
octagon,
Khabib,
shit.
that you're immediately going to go in there and just grind on how does that not happen to me again?
Yeah.
How do I just defend that? So if he's down at 145 fighting Frankie Edgar, yeah, Edgar's got a shot, but I think if they're at 155, his strength and just general better knowledge of wrestling at this point would... I mean, Edgar does not have a chance at 155.
Okay. Sure.
Edgar gets smoked no matter what weight against Conor.
I think 145, he definitely has a way better shot. I think it would go a couple rounds at 145. I think he could hang long enough. He proved that he could hang with a guy that's going to touch up his face the entire time with Holloway. Yeah. But we think we agreed on this before that Conor has more punching power than Holloway does.
Yeah.
Absolutely, dude.
So
by a lot.
Yeah, so I think that all it takes is one of those left hands, and Edgar would go out at any weight. But
probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hard to argue against that. Yeah.
Is that enough Conor talk?
Yeah, I'm good on Conor.
Think so.
Yeah.
I still like him. I hope he comes back.
Yeah, okay, whatever. I don't care.
I like to see him get knocked out.
Whatever.
I just want to see him fight.
You can come back, get knocked out, or you can
See you
come
later.
back,
Rate,
get
subscribe,
knocked out.
review.
This has been Guys Talking Fights.
Give
Episode
us
5?
a thumbs up.